Welcome back, everybody, to yet another episode on the O'Shea Duke Jackson channel. I am your host, O'Shea Duke Jackson. I first want to welcome everybody into the stream. I definitely appreciate you being here. For those of you who are going to be watching this stream on the replay, I definitely appreciate you being here also as well. Today, we have a very, very special guest. Most of you probably do know him for his participation on some of the hangouts in Black YouTube over the last year. He is the prolific writer and founder of powerandstrategy.com. But again, he is also the prolific Tuesday columnist on the Black Juggernaut, which is www.negromanosphere.com. And I always say he is the brightest and most intelligent person on the site. No offense to anybody else. That's just my opinion on the way he writes, right? I'm just talking about that. He writes on some of the most deep thought things that one can think of. I think he's on a whole other level on how he sees the world. And this is our own, very own great Tony Maceo of powerandstrategy.com. He's here today to share some wisdom, as he always is here, on why Black women have low expectations of Black men. And I bet you can't understand where he's going to come from. But I'm going to introduce to some and present to others Tony Maceo of the Power and Strategy blog and YouTube channel. What's going on, my brother?
Hey, what's happening, man? Thank you for that introduction. I have to check a lot of times to see if you're talking about me, but thank you for the introduction, man. It's good to be here as always, man. If I can, you know, make a contribution to the Negro Manosphere, hey, man, I look forward to doing it.
All right. And again, thank you guys so much. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. I see Dr. Deacon Eric P and Mr. Grandeur and Sento and Kenny Kojo and Darnell. What's up? See the God. Let me talk to you about this morning's hangout, Tony Maceo. Well, before we do that, I always ask people what got them into this Black male space that we call the manosphere. It's funny because I'm in Kampala, Uganda. First time I heard about you, I was also in Kampala, Uganda. So what brought you into this space of what we know as Black YouTube or the manosphere?
It was my brother, man, the one and only Big Mike, the Fat Mac, Triple XL, Mac City.
Almighty Triple XL.
Almighty Triple XL, man. I was trying to reach that nigga. I probably called him later on again today. But yeah, it was him, man. I started out being, a guest on his show, and so me and him clicked because we see the world a lot alike. We have similar ways in how we look at things in society, especially when it comes to dating and women. So I started out on his podcast, and at that time we were on Liberated Syndicate and a couple of other places. And so we stubbornly made the transition to YouTube. We were fighting change as it may be. And so we subsequently came to YouTube. And because we had on Liberated Syndicate, we had, a pretty good following on there. I should say he had pretty good following on there. I was just the wingman. And so we transitioned from that to YouTube. And I've always been a more effective. I've always been a better writer than I was a podcast host. I only worked well when I had someone to bounce ideas off of. And if you know Fat Mac, he's a comical nigga, boy. He is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So it worked well because he was the comedic relief, and I was the guy that was the more serious of the two. So it played off very well. That's how I got in.
All right. So thank you again for Dr. Dick and Eric P for the next night out in Kampala. Henny shot on me. Thank you, my brother. What I want to talk about today is you were talking about a little earlier on Obsidian's channel. Shout out to Obsidian. There was a live stream where you had multiple participants on a panel, and you were breaking down situations about Black women dealing with what is known as the Pookie or Ray Ray guy, and then why Black women begin to have low expectations. I kind of want you to start from there because I never heard it being put that way, obviously, because you have a way with understanding things. And I thought I was bright, goddamn it. But after I lost to that shit, I had to go check my neurons to see where they was at, my brother. let's talk about black women when they deal with black men who are not stable or who don't have their best outlook. What happens to these black women in your opinion?
Well, I mean, you got to start. You got to give. I try to give everything context, and I'm gonna try not to be too long-winded. You got to understand where these black women come from. They come from back. They don't come from a lot of times. They don't come from two-parent homes. They come from one-parent homes, and a lot of times it's their mothers. And sad to say, a lot of times their mothers are not really effective parents. A lot of times their mothers are not about shit. They watch their mothers have niggas run in and out the house.
Mm.
They watch their mothers be fools for these niggas. They watch their mothers get the most elementary pedestrian game ran on them by these niggas. So this is the example that they got. You understand? So when they come of age, they're in a house where there's a whole lot of dysfunction. So what they're doing is they're mirroring that dysfunction. They don't know how to run a house. They don't know how to keep a home together. They're just getting older. They're
Mm-hmm.
just getting older. They don't understand certain fundamentals about dating and relationships. That it's just like it's almost like when we're young. You go through that stage where you're full of piss and vinegar. You're getting out here. You're trying to find out where you rank in the dating market,
Okay.
and you're going through that. But if you're in a household of dysfunction, that shit it's worse. The
Okay.
whole coming of age ritual, the whole rite of age, the whole coming of age rite of passage ritual. That's much more difficult if you don't have that stabilizing you. If you wake up in the middle of the night and you see your mama riding the shit out of some strange dude, you know, and you see every time you turn around, you got a new uncle coming to visit you who's not even family. You see what I'm saying? That shit affects you. And then if you're in an impoverished and violent household where anything can happen at that point, and you exist in an environment where you don't see very many men, where your mama ain't got nothing but a bunch of thought sisters, and the
Oh
one male
man.
that's in the house is old as fuck and he ready to die off. So you don't really have things. You understand? You
Right.
you don't have that. So then when they come out here and start dating, what are they? They're going through their stage, just like we have this saying, "Sow your wild oats." Well, they're sowing their wild oats. But the problem is, a lot of these girls, no one has even taught these girls birth control. A lot of times, a lot of their mothers haven't taught them anything about birth control. If you grow up in a generation, if you grow up in generational poverty,
Okay.
all you know is how to use the system. And there's a culture and a lifestyle that comes with that. So now when they get out here and start dating that nigga that look good to them, they don't know that they can't afford him, and he don't know that he can't afford her. Because both of them come from the same background a lot of times. They come from the same space.
Mm-hmm.
So they dealing with the same issues. So then when
Mm-hmm.
she hooks up with him initially because she's obeying her nature. She's attracted to him. She's attracted to the aggression. She's attracted to the swag and all that shit. She's attracted to that shit until it gets to a point where you figure out that swag and all the rest of that shit don't pay the bills. And then when you figure out all the other shit that's wrong with him, not only does he have daddy issues, but he got mommy issues.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you figure out that this nigga is imbalanced, he don't do responsibility. He doesn't do fiscal integrity. You know, he doesn't do protection. He doesn't do long-term planning for retirement. No, he jump up and down in your ass and he diddy bops to the next broad. That's what he does. He's a bopper. He diddy bops. That's not what he does. And then when you figure out he knock you up and give you a baby, which is another thing. They don't even think again. A lot of them have not been taught how to use. You would say, "Well, that's crazy, Tony." No, I'm telling you from what I observe, and the statistics show it. Black women have a hard. Uh, they have this hard limit. Apparently, they have this misunderstanding about when and where to use birth control. And I know someone gonna say, "Well, why aren't these niggas responsible? Why aren't these niggas?" Well, these niggas are responsible, but this nigga's just as reckless as you are. He's just as reckless as you are. So you have to take that next step. But again, when you out there and you full of piss and vinegar, you ain't thinking like that. She's just out there obeying what's attractive to her. She's just out there obeying her nature.
Mhm,
And it's
mhm.
her nature to run behind that nigga until she find out that she can't afford it. He's too expensive, you know.
I want to deal
And
with go ahead, finish your point. Could you give me a lot to
she
work with?
find out that she can't keep it. She can't keep it. He's not gonna stay because that's not what he does. But she finds that out, unfortunately, too late after she's already had a child. And now it's time for the hate and the contempt.
Let me deal with this. And shout out to the people in the chat. We got 150 people here. Good to see my brother Blackest Night, Search for Hulu, and Rude Amp in here. Good to see you, brothers. I want to deal with this, man. Back to what you called a lot of. Hold on a second. Who the hell is calling me? A lot of black women you're dealing with. You said they have elementary. They get hit with the elementary and the pedestrian game
Yeah,
from niggas.
yeah.
What? Can you give me examples? What
I
is
mean,
elementary and pedestrian game?
it's just simple deception. I mean, simple sleight of hand trickery. You know, it's not anything profound. It's just they tell them anything. I want to have my first baby by you, or my mama want to meet you, and his mama can't stand you. That's what he's telling you.
I'm
See,
sorry, man. He said, "My mama want to meet you. I want that." Just nigga, just say any kind of stupid ass shit.
kind of stupid ass shit. And his mama can't stand him. His mama don't even know who she is.
Oh, man, I'm laughing because that shit is so true. Okay, look, I'm gonna get back being serious. Shout out to Lermondo, had to contribute if Tony Maceo is speaking. Oh yeah, he's here, man. Get the likes up on the video. Tony, let's talk about um something else. You made something that was a point about she can't afford him.
Mhm.
Now, people who are thinking about affording, they're thinking about, wait, well, she don't have no money, or she don't have the credit card, um, all of those things. When you say that she cannot, and I'm talking about the brother who was a Pookie and Riri brother that is in the same place that she came up with, because mostly people, we know that all of Black America is not poverty or in are poor, so we understand that. Okay, some of
No,
you people have
no, we're
come
not.
from different families and stuff. We understand, right? We know all Black folks not like this, but we're just using this simple example. What do you mean when you say she cannot afford him?
A lot of times in the black community, again, you're coming from a community with a wealth gap as compared to other races. Okay, you're coming from a community that is probably not totally poor, but we're not balling out of control either. It's a situation to where if you're in a single parent home, right, you already
Mhm.
starved of resources. You meet another nigga, he's starved of resources. He don't have any money either, and he's just starting out in life. So then when you got these two people from this fractured background and you get pregnant by this dude, or you're in a relationship with this dude, it's not merely financial, it's all the other shit that come with that. It's
Mhm.
the psychological trauma that she goes through by dealing with him, and the psychological trauma that he goes through by dealing with her. They feeding off of each other's dysfunction. So while she's here, she's depending on him to be a real man, but she never checked to see if he was a real man. This was just a nigga she was sexually attracted to. She didn't
Mhm.
check to see what he brought to the table. She didn't check to see what kind of person he was. She just wanted to fuck him. She just wanted to fuck him. And then after she started fucking him, she caught feelings. But he didn't catch feelings. That's not what he do. He don't lay up with you. It's off to the next broad. So now he comes in, he's spending up your money because he never learned how to run a household. He never learned anything about responsibility. He never learned about anything worthwhile. He never learned that shit. He just never had it. Or if he had it, he didn't pay attention to it. So now her bills are always in arrearages.
Mhm.
He's always getting kicked out. He's always involved in some stupid shit.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just one thing after the other. Day to day with this nigga, it's always some type of drama. You see? And see, before she know it, she looks up, all of her money is gone. Then on top of it, the dick that she was seeking, that's gone too, because like we always said, Max City, familiarity breeds contempt. The
Mhm.
newness of the relationship is worn off. He's off to another bitch now. You don't have anything to offer him. His game is the same as yours. You sack chasing and he's sack chasing. And he's
Mhm.
saying essentially, bitch, you broke. I'm out. you know. So then he goes on off and he repeats the same behavior with the next chick. But then he's coming back to you. He done knocked you up with a kid, so now you got an extra bill because a child is a bill.
A big
So
bill.
this nigga's out making expenses. Y'all getting utilities and shit in the kid name, and he's only 6 months old, and all that kind of old good shit. Fucking up the baby's credit. And he barely got a social security number. You know, all that kind of old crazy ass shit. You know, Getting credit. Fucked up your mama's credit because you got her social security number and her birth date. Fucked up her credit. Done fucked up your credit. And his is definitely jacked up. Fucked up. I mean, everything
It's
is
fucked
just
up.
imploded. There's nothing there that says a healthy household. There's nothing there at all. Because
Mhm.
again, she was just fucking him. And then when she figure out that he's not gonna be this man that she's looking for as she starts to age, because as she starts to age, her priorities change. And when
Mhm.
her priorities change, she understands real quick that this nigga ain't about her priorities. Matter of fact, fuck her priorities. He out. He's on to the next bitch.
Mhm.
And by that time, again, you figure out you can't afford it. You
Uh,
can't afford him. You got a kid,
mhm.
but you can't afford it.
Tony, let me do this. Let me ask you this. What in your opinion would cause, or what do you think causes a woman's priorities to change? What do you think that transpires in her life that will cause that?
She's getting older and life sets in. Again,
Mhm.
real life sets in. Them goddamn bills, when them bills come due and it says third and final notice, that changes your priorities. Understand? When you get them shut off notices and they telling you your shit gonna be cut off on the 29th of the month, that changes your priorities.
Mhm.
You see, when shit start getting cut off and shit start getting taken, and you don't have money for basics, you don't have money for the essentials, and this nigga ain't kicking in because he being taken care of by some other unfortunate bitch elsewhere who he's running the same game on.
Mhm.
Then your priorities change, and then she's starting to get older. She's starting to get older. Niggas ain't giving her that kind of attention anymore. Yeah, they want to lay up with her, but ain't nobody cuffing her. They'll bend
Mhm.
her over, but they ain't gonna cuff her. If
Mhm.
they cuffing her, they cuffing her to bend her over. But that's it. They ain't staying there. you know.
Uh-uh.
So she's getting older. She's getting older. A lot of times she hasn't gone anywhere or done anything, or because you got to think about this now. If she has children,
Mhm.
a significant amount of time has to be devoted to those children. And I see a lot of black women that don't tend to devote a lot of time to their children because, in a real sense, they are children, from what I've observed. They don't get a chance to grow up before they start having children. So now
Mhm.
they're in the streets. You understand?
Mhm.
So it's a situation to where life is happening. Life is happening. She don't know how to deal with it.
Mhm.
So now she's saying, "Well, I'm looking for X, Y, and Z," and I'm like, "Well, you've pulled yourself out of that position." Now, does that mean that every single mother or every single black mother is not going to be able to find a man? No, I'm not going to say that because you got to say that for these remedial niggas. Do you mean because it's always a nigga? It's always one that's going to pull out the exception. Well, I know one or two, nigga. That's one or two. On a whole, generally, they're not. On a whole, generally, you're not gonna find a nigga that wants to pay another nigga's bills. You're
Right,
not gonna
right.
find a dude that want to come in there and want to raise another nigga's kids. And
Mhm.
then you got to think, what kind of psychological issues do these children have? And these
Mhm.
children do have issues. These children do
Oh,
have issues.
yes.
So now your priorities have changed because your priorities have to change.
Mhm.
Your priorities change by necessity.
Mhm.
Your nature may not change. You still may be attracted to that hood nigga, but your life priorities have changed. Your nature hasn't changed, but your life priorities have changed. Unfortunately, a lot of times it's just a bit too late.
Mhm. Mhm.
That train is already pulled out the station, baby. You missed it.
let me do this. Let me shout out to the brother right here in the super chat, David Little. Used to simp like that. Thank you, O'Shea, for changing my life. Nah, brother, I appreciate you. Do me a favor. We got 232 people watching. Can you guys get the likes up on the video? We got all you brothers in here, and I want you guys to like the video if we can. So we have 88 likes. Help us get to 135. Good to see Sister Erica in the building, and we'll do some shout outs in a minute. But let's get 50 people in the chat. Let me ask you this real quick. What you talked about is this psychological trauma, these issues that black men and black women have with each other, but most notably black women have with black
Yes.
men.
Yes.
After their priorities change and they get in certain situations, it is your hypothesis that then at some point, because they go through so many bad experiences with black men, they end up just saying, fuck it, we have no expectations of them or very low expectations of them. Is that your position?
I wouldn't say no expectations. They have either unrealistic expectations or low expectations.
Okay, let's do this. Please talk to me about unrealistic expectations before we go into what is low. Give
What
me an
they
example of
have
that.
are they want these Cinderella fantasies. They want a nigga to come in with the platinum slipper, and just sweep them off their feet. Well, you got to come in and you got to accept my 3 or 4 children. You got to accept all the liability and damage that come with us. And you got to look this way. You got to have washboard abs. You got to be funny. You got to have good hair. You got to have a 6-figure bank account. You got to be. And niggas looking at her like, bitch, are you serious? Are you serious?
Right, right.
You understand? So you got all these expectations and all these regulations, and you fall under the requirement necessary to get what you asking for.
Okay.
So a dude is like, you asking me for Red Lobster? That you better take this cheeseburger Happy Meal and bend over.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So it's like, no, you have forfeited. You have forfeited, I've been listening to Obsidian too much. You have forfeited the right to Cinderella treatment.
Okay.
No, we're gonna do this down low episode at your house or at the back seat of my Jeep, and it's a wrap. That's it. You got nothing coming here. You know, if you lucky, I might get the kids some King vitamin cereal or some shit like that. Other than that, that's it.
Well, let me ask you this, Tony. Then, and shout out to Miss Parker Lynn. Don't leave out the ladies in the chat. We soaking up this knowledge as well. Thank you so much, Miss Parker Lynn. Let me ask you this, then, Tony. Tell me, what these unrealistic expectations that they must be inspired from somewhere. What inspires unrealistic expectations of black women with black men? What is the causation or the catalyst for such things?
I think a lot of times it's their dreams in some instances, or in a lot of instances it's television. It may be reality. They see women live in a certain way. They see that shit on TV. They see that love and hip hop shit and that basketball wives. And they see that type of culture. They don't understand what goes on with getting that shit, but they see it on television.
Okay.
You know, and I also think that they have a very infantile understanding of how the world works.
Okay.
See, they think that you get something for nothing. The
Mm-hmm.
only thing that's free in this life is in a fucking mousetrap. That's the only thing that's free in this life. It's in a mousetrap. Everything costs. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So, they get these unrealistic expectations from their friends, and a lot of times from their mama who herself didn't get that shit. Their
Mm-hmm.
mothers always tell them, find a nigga that can give you something. Well, again, you missed that train. When you got that second baby, that's over. Find you no, you will not have a nigga that's a six or 7 figure basketball star. Nah, Lil Raymond at the post office, that's you. The white that's driving the FedEx truck, that's you, boo. That's you. The nigga that's bringing the packages to your house, that's you. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So I think in some instances, I think it's their peer group. I think it's the conditioning in terms of what they see on television, popular culture,
Mm-hmm.
music, and shit like that. But then there's reality.
Mm-hmm.
See, that shit is illusion. That's entertainment. It's not nonfiction. It's fiction. It's not real. It's entertainment.
Okay.
So they have these expectations. It's just like what Chris Rock said. Chris Rock said, "Bitch can be 300 pounds and got the nerve to want a nigga that's in shape."
All right, Tony. Hotep, y'all. The white man is holding my chest back. Tony, let's talk to me. Talk to me about um the low expectations. You said there's some
The
women that
low,
have unrealistic. Well, let's talk about the low expectations if we can.
the low expectations is this. Look, they know that this nigga on the block. They know this nigga whose jeans is sagging. He got tattoos all over him. They know he ain't got no kind of job. They know he don't have shit to offer. But okay, if they can't get the masters of the universe as it may be,
Okay.
they don't want Mr. Right. They just want Mr. Right now.
Okay.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have no expectations of him. He's just supposed to come in, and just hit them off with that good wood and disappear. But the flaw in their plan is when they hit this nigga off, or when this nigga hit them off, then they start catching feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So you ain't got no expectations for him but some dick. But then by the other token, he got a lot of other bitches he hitting off for. So you can't demand a whole lot for him. You can't ask a whole lot from him. So they know not to ask for anything from him.
Okay.
But in the meanwhile, it costs to be with him. It costs to have that nigga laid up in your ass 24/7. There's a price for that. You
Mm-hmm.
see? So while they don't have any expectations of him, he has every expectation of them, because that's a mercy fuck. He think he doing them a favor by even pulling his drawers down. You understand? So, it's just like, well, he's just here for X. Okay, well, you don't have any expectations. You don't have any obligations for him to do, because he's just here for that.
Okay.
But by the same token, he got every expectation for you. You know, I just want him to fuck me good. That's fine. That's wonderful. You just want him to fuck you. But if he keeps fucking you, you going to catch feelings.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't ask for anything. You can't, this nigga ain't finna pay a bill. This nigga ain't finna pay a bill. Coming to him with your goddamn credit card statement. That was this scene in the movie Baby Boy. Did you see the movie Baby Boy?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what's the girl? Taraji Henson and her baby was in the house, and he was trying to rape her, and
Right.
the little boy was saying, "Get off my mama! Get off my mama!" And then he went and put, himself he stacked up the pillows and made himself a fort. And then Snoop Dogg got up off her and then kicked over his pillows and shit. Fuck your fort, nigga. You see what I'm saying? That's the attitude of those dudes that they're dealing with. He don't. He's not gonna bring shit to the table.
Mm-hmm.
And not to ask any high powered nigga to bring anything to the table, because he's out of your league in the first place. You
Mm-hmm.
shoot two. You lucky if he even look at you twice. You're not
Mm-hmm.
you're not in his league socially or sexually at all.
Mm-hmm.
I said this once before, and I'll say it again. I remember I got a homeboy who is he's very affluent. He's wealthy. And he told
Okay.
me this joke one day. He said, "Yo, Tone, what do you call?" He used this. In this instance, he was talking about a fat girl. He said, "Tone, what do you call a fat bitch fucking one of us?" I said, "What?" He said, "Grateful."
Okay.
I said, "What?" Then he said, "Well, what do you call us fucking one of them?" I said, "What?" He said, "Bored."
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
That's how they look at it. So she can't pose any expectations on the nigga that got his shit together,
Mm-hmm.
and she can't pose any expectations, on the nigga that don't got his shit together. She just there.
Okay. Let me ask you this, and guys, get the likes up on the video. We got the Tony Maceo, the great of NegroManosphere.com and PowerAndStrategy.com, right? I said this was the biggest score for me in 2017. This was the still of the draft, SOD. So let me ask you this, Tony. What happens? Because here's a situation that we may have. You may have a black woman who, and I'm going to get a little bit more complex. So let's see if we can solve this issue here. You may have a black woman who has no children, okay, from this environment, and she may have no children. She may even be listening to this podcast right now. She has no children. She has some sort of career, but she still has low faith in men or low expectations of black men or something like that. But then what happens with these women when they come across a brother who is actually high value. And I think this is probably one of the lack of communications that happen in Black America, especially with um, Black women who come from single parent homes who end up into the workforce. They do very well. They don't have kids yet, and then they come across these other Black men that are also doing pretty good, but they don't have so much high expectations of Black men. What advice would you give to such women in categories that how should they recognize certain brothers out there who happen to be high expectation if they have this brother's actually a brother that's decent, but they have low expectations even though this brother is also probably somebody that they could actually achieve.
Well, it's on. See, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't. I'm going to answer that question the best way I know how, but there's
Mhm.
really no blueprint for that because you got to understand, a woman that's out there that got her shit together 9 times out of 10, if they come from that cutthroat world of corporate America tends to effeminize and masculate men, especially black men, because in this society you have to appear non-threatening in order to
Mhm.
survive. You learn very quick in this society as a black man, your ability to appear affable and non-threatening is what helps you to exist. So when she runs across another man just like her, it's a situation. Sad to say,
Mhm.
there's a saying that what is it? Opposites attract, like forces
Mhm.
repel. So when she run across another dude that's like her, well, in a lot of ways, women are seeking an escape from that. When those women run across dudes and they start dating, those types of dudes they don't tend to be attracted to because those types of dudes come from the background that they come from, and they tend to be spayed and neutered as a result of their environment. Not all of them. Again, I gotta say that because I know
Right.
some niggas are saying not all. Well, generally, in corporate America, you don't find niggas that tend to be the most aggressive. Okay, you don't find niggas in corporate America that exude the type of masculinity that these women are attracted to. So when you ask me that question, well, would they know when a dude is successful?
Mhm.
Women know when a dude has money. They understand when a dude is a financially viable prospect. But it's and a lot of times when they choose a dude, that's not what it's about. It's not about a financially viable prospect. Not when those women choose dudes. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times when they meet these dudes, they're at a specific stage in their life where they want something different than what they're used to. Now you may have some of these women that okay, well now they're getting older and they want a child, and they may be seeking the perfect man to have the child. But I'm not going to say that that doesn't happen, but it does happen, but it's in the minority. A lot of times when black women have stable careers, I'm going to tell you because I have had more black women sign on my bond applications with high five and low six-figure incomes than you can shake a stick at, and it's
Mhm.
never a nigga that's on their level. It's never a nigga that's equal to them or on the same at the same socioeconomic level as they are, that has the same status. It's always a nigga that is the exact opposite.
Mhm.
It's always the one that's the exact opposite. So it's not like they don't know. You understand? They know what type of dudes are successful. They do. But that is not what is attractive to them at that particular point in their lives. That's not what they're looking for right now. They're looking for
Mhm.
something else right now. You
Mhm.
understand?
So let me kind of get back to that. That's you make some strong points about the brother that's in corporate America, and let me shout out to Harry Mingo, the biggest super chatter in Negro Manosphere history. Ladies, be wise. Need to be wise. Stop giving up the fish fillet to the bum god. Shout out to Harry Mingo out of New York City, man. Been working out there for so many years. Good to see him. Guys, get the likes up. We need 56 more people to hit the like button to get to 200. Let me the last point again. What up, Uncle Larry? Let me make him a moderator. Let me kind of get back to that last point at the end. You said that they're not looking for that right now.
They
Okay,
are.
they're not looking for that right now. Tony, then let me ask you this: these black men who, who black women see them if they have low expectations. You worked in a Bell's bondsman. Um, you were a Bell's bondsman for many years. Are these the same black women who decide to deal with guys that are not on their level? Are they the same ones that criticize, these other black men for going into other communities, whether it's white America, and to get women? Um, are those black women the same ones when they find themselves that when they quote unquote can't afford this brother? Are they the ones that get upset at black men for interracially dating? In your opinion?
I think they are largely. I think they are. What has happened is at the time when they're ready to be serious, they've been broken down. And so, because they've been broken down, the nigga that risked everything to build an empire, the nigga that had to undergo untold amount of psychological damage and suffering in this society to build something for himself,
Mhm.
the dude who's had to hear rejection. I'm not talking about dating aspect. I'm talking about trying to be successful. The
Mhm.
dude that has failed continuously, that has tried to build his empire and get his shit together, he you pay a price for that too, and there's a huge psychological toll that go with that. So now, at the same token, by the same token, you weren't there when he built that shit. You weren't there. You didn't share his tragedy. So he's not competent, or he's not confident, excuse me, that you should share his triumphs. You understand? So by the
Mhm.
time they find that dude, by the time when they come, Uncle Ron did a podcast on this. He talks about how you didn't go through anything with this dude, so he don't have any trust for you. So when they find this dude, when they go across and they find these dudes are saying, "Well, I'm sorry, and I'm not checking for you," and it's like, well, now you're a sellout, or you this and you that. Now he just went to where he was accepted. He just went to where he was accepted. Now the value and the level of the chick, that's another argument, but he found acceptance where he found it. You know. So initially it's a situation to whereas you don't miss a good thing until it's gone. You don't miss the water until the well is dry. And it's drier than a motherfucker in black America. It's a desert in this motherfucker. So now that you have these dudes that are stepping out and they're leaving or what have you, now these women are saying, well, why are you doing this? Why are you leaving? And they have all these criticisms. Well, you weren't. I heard you tell that to Paris Milan. You had Paris Milan on your platform. You told Paris Milan, you was like, look, don't act like y'all were looking for these dudes. Don't act like you were checking for these dudes, because you're not. And she went
Right.
to, stuttering and stammering and hemming and hawing. You understand? You weren't looking for that nigga then, but you looking for him now. The problem is,
Right.
well, now the nigga can afford, a 2019 Lexus, or 2019 Nissan. He ain't trying to get no Pacer or no Yugo. He's out.
Did you say you go?
He ain't trying to do that shit. He gone. You know, but a lot of times from their end, they come from a background where they couldn't depend on a man for nothing, because again, their daddy wasn't there. Their father, well, if he was there, he was lightning. He was there in a flash of lightning and gone in a flash of lightning. That nigga showed up on their birthday. Maybe he bought them a pair of shoes and a cake, or he showed up and gave them some money and a birthday card, and that nigga was gone. This hobo tramp like figure that's there in a flash and gone in a flash. He wasn't no constant fixture in their life you know. And then every man that they came across, well, I should say it this way, every man that they were attracted to
Okay.
disappointed them.
Mhm.
Every man that they were attracted to didn't live up to their expectations,
Okay.
is what that was. So now when this dude that you wasn't attracted to went out and did his thing, and now he's attractive. Now he's attractive. He looking at you and saying, "Oh no, that's too many kids.
Uh
Oh
oh.
no, 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 you got too many kids. Yeah, you got a fat little ass. Yeah, I like that. I wonder what that mouth do. Uh, yeah, I can work with you. I can work with you. What? A ring? Okay, I'll give you a ring. Bye, Felicia. I'm out. You understand?
Right.
So what he's willing to do He'll lay up with you, and he'll even take you out. He may even take you out. He may even, kick it with you a little bit, but he ain't going that far. He ain't going that far. So he may be willing to give a little something, to get a little something, but he ain't
Right.
trying to buy the house. He
Right.
just trying to rent the hotel room. He ain't trying to pay the mortgage.
Let me do this. Shout out to some of the super chatters. I want to ask one question. Um, let me go to Brandon Greer, to my pastor. I should keep preaching. Thank you, my brother, for the 499 super chat. And let me ask this for the brother. And guys, keep shout out to Dr. Andal. Shout out to Rudimp. Keep the likes coming up, my brothers. If anything, all right. If you enjoying the stream, do me a favor. 31 likes gets to the 200 for me. Lamondo 22. What's the price to pay for being an alpha? Seem like it's only a win-win situation. Tony Maceo, I've never heard you go in. I don't know if you want to answer that question.
I'll
What's the
answer that
price?
question. I'll
Go ahead.
answer
Go
that.
ahead.
This is something that we don't talk about, and I know
Okay.
I'm gonna get myself in some trouble by saying this.
Sure.
This is the price you pay by being an alpha. This is the price. The price you pay is a long-term price. It's not a short-term price. There is a proverb that talks about not despairing when you see people prospering from what you may think is evil, and see people suffering for doing the right thing, because it's a lot of shit that come with that. So in answering his question, where you end up as an alpha, you end up old, alone, and in a nursing home, being abused by some STNA hood rat that hate her job. That's the price you pay for that.
Hmm.
That's the price you pay for that. And I'm speaking of alphas at the limited definition, the way we define it. The way we
Okay.
define it. It's just a hyper violent nigga that she's sexually attracted to. That's what alpha means in the black community in any real sense. We may
Okay.
define it differently. Everybody may have a different definition, but generally, when people are talking about alpha, they're talking about the men that are sexually desirable. And
Okay.
these niggas tend to be, more often than not, they tend to be stupid as fuck.
Oh, hallelujah. Let me switch the conversation, Nick, because we want to talk about black women having low expectations of black men. That is a topic, and I think this last question. Shout out to the brother that super chatted. Um, you've defined what you think that most black women consider to be alpha men
Hmm. Yep.
are the alpha male. And a lot of times, shout out to, I think, I want to make sure I'm not misquoting. I think that C Boogie had a discussion with some other people about what is alpha, and it was kind of something kind of a back and forth in the manosphere about that. I don't know who he was talking to, but I know this has always been a big question in this particular realm of black YouTube, especially in the black manosphere. What do other groups, in your opinion, ask these questions? What is the true definition of alpha, and what do other groups outside of the black community look at as alpha?
The true definition of an alpha is a man that is balanced. He's on top of his game at every level. He's on top of his game financially. He's on top of his game socially. He's on top of his game politically. He's just an all around balanced guy in every area. It doesn't mean that he enjoys the height of success in every area. It means that this guy is a fairly diverse person. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? He's the
Mm-hmm.
guy who you can sit and talk to about almost anything, but if you get him wrong, he'll crack your head open. You understand? He
Okay.
possesses both characteristics. He possesses the intellect. He possesses the aggression. He's a balanced human being. It doesn't mean that he's perfect, but he's a balanced human being, you know. But what other cultures define as alpha, it tends to be the person that can provide, the person that has the power, the person that sets the rules, the person that doles out and executes punishment. That's the person that people listen to. And alpha is usually a person that has some degree of power over their reality. That's how other
Mm-hmm.
cultures define alpha. We have a weak
Mm-hmm.
interpretation, or we have an incomplete definition of what that word means.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this: Does is an alpha male okay? Is sex with women or having women, is that a part of being an alpha male?
I would say it is. Honestly, I would say the ability, a man's sexual ability is a part of him being an alpha, but that's not the only aspect. But in Black
It,
America, that's a key aspect. But see, that is problematic because after a while, you lose that too. I keep
Mhm.
telling them nobody's safe in here. Not even the jawline niggas are safe. No, they getting cheated on. They're getting cheated on. And
Yes,
that's what nobody's talking about.
sure.
They're getting cheated on because I'm the nigga that their girls are cheating with.
Hmm.
And they're cheating with me for
For
75,
75. How much?
75, 75. Because the dudes who they're dealing with, they can't afford those dudes, man. And this is what I was trying to say this morning, and a dude just got all twisted and bent out of shape when I said it. They cannot afford those dudes that they're with. They
Mhm.
can't. Those dudes are gonna
Mhm.
thoroughly break them down. But those are the dudes that we are calling, that we're labeling as alpha, and they're not alpha in any sense of the word. They were never alpha in any sense of the word. But
Mhm.
because they're physically attractive and they are at the height of the sexual hierarchy, somebody gave them that title. But in
Mhm.
reality, these niggas are bums. Bum
Mhm.
niggas are master entertainers. They're master illusionists.
Master entertainers, master illusionists. Let me
Yeah.
let me do this. King George 3, the best way to describe Alpha as a corporate thug. I'm gonna kind of jump in this. I know I'm interviewing you, but guys, get the likes up on the video. 400. Let me say something real quick. You niggas are something else on these damn live streams. I have never seen people to be so cheap with free shit. Nigga, how can you niggas not even like the video? I mean, you niggas are something else, man. This is free to like the video, and you black people on my channel, I'm not liking it. I like this content. I'm gonna waste my battery, but I ain't gonna like the video. Fuck these niggas. If y'all don't like the goddamn video, it's free. Come on, black people. This is free shit. Jesus paid it all on the goddamn cross. It's nothing for you to go here and like this goddamn video. And subscribe to my man's blog, powerandstrategy.com. www.powerandstrategy.com. We know that you niggas is working right now, and y'all need something to do to get you through that shitty ass shift you're on. We know you don't like your motherfucking boss. And guess what? He don't like your motherfucking ass either. So we're trying to keep you niggas entertained while you at work or in the unemployment office or wherever the fuck you niggas are at. All right. But I need you to like my fucking video because I'm tired of you niggas not liking my goddamn shit. Now, this is some bullshit. Now, you niggas know this is free. And I'm tired of I'm stop doing these goddamn streams and get back to tricking on these African booties out here and leave you niggas alone. Nigga, stop begging. Tell your mama stop begging, bitch. Get Gigi out of my motherfucking chat. Don't you ever come in here telling me what to do, punk. All right. Now, thank you for the likes. I appreciate, black people, you got to talk to them real mean to get them to do some shit. Um,
Yeah.
let me ask this. Let me ask this. In my opinion, as far as alpha, O'Shea is clearly a virgin. I will never be a virgin as long as your mama is still living. That's one bitch, Baba T. I'm always gonna be able to fuck. If I can't fuck nobody else, as long as your mama is still alive, I'ma always have at least one hoe. At least one. Okay. I would have been your daddy. Okay. But that motherfucking Neanderthal had more motherfucking sunflower seeds than me, nigga. So you about 30 or 2 seconds away from being my motherfucking son. You keep on playing. I'll be over there tonight, nigga, with some diet waters for your drunk ass mama, nigga. So you keep on talking that motherfucking shit and see that I come through there tonight and bang, bang, bang that ass. All right. In your opinion, what is the is in non-black communities, is being an alpha male, is having women, is the most important? Let's say in white communities or Asian communities, is having communities like when you look at the Chinese Communist Party leader, who's probably one of the most powerful guys in the world. I forgot what his name is, Jiang Ping Shong or whatever. You look at this guy like this, who's that Communist Party is taking all over Africa. They're doing so many things in Africa, and you look at this guy. I mean, I know Mao Zedong had a lot of chicks, and so did what's this other guy, Fidel Castro. I mean, he was they said he was a good looking guy or whatever. But do you think that they're having women for the alpha males and other communities. Xi Jinping, something like that. Uh, how important is having women to define their alpha male on the scale of 1 to 10?
Having women to them is probably about a six or seven, because those cultures understand one very important thing: power is the greatest aphrodisiac. You can
Mm-hmm.
Those men are interested in power. See,
Mm-hmm.
pussy is going to always follow power.
Mm-hmm.
So those men are interested in amassing power. Women will always run behind powerful men. Always. That's their nature too. So other
Mm-hmm.
cultures are interested in the pursuit of power.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we tend to be overly interested in the pursuit of pussy.
Oh, oh, that's a good one. Okay, okay, okay. Let me kind of get back to this. I wanna let me read the other super chat. I was cussing one nigga out. Um, King George III, thank you, brother. Women hate a true alpha because she can't push him around or run her mouth. Because a true alpha knows his values as a man. Brandon Greer, he's preaching. I'm going through that now. Thank you, brothers, for the support, and thank you, brothers, for liking the video. Miss Parker, prime example, proving the difference between the alpha male and the busta ass. You men hit that like button. Stop being stingy. Thank you, Miss Parker Lynn. Let me talk about this one thing, right? And you mentioned this. I noticed that there is me and Alpha Alan Roger Curry. You were in the stream last night.
Yeah,
The name of that video, if I'm not mistaken, it was women and their different criteria for different men.
right.
Okay, so we talk about some of the brothers out there that some of you guys have come out of poverty into lower middle class America. You're the first generational guy that goes to college. You're the first generational guy that goes to business or does something productive in the military or something like that. You go out and do something great. What I've noticed is that these women, once they realize that their priorities changed, you make a great point that their priorities change, but their taste stay the same. I believe you mentioned something like this. They're still
Yes.
attracted to the same guys, but at the same time, here they are requiring, and maybe I'm wrong about it. Are these women requiring everything from the guys that they really don't want? I mean, as far as the educated guys, the guys who are the truck drivers, the guys who whatever, they wouldn't require these things from. Go ahead.
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. They're required. Alan Roger Curry said it last night, and he said it very good. And when next time you see him, tell him I'm still gonna shoot that goddamn Chewy. But anyway,
No.
fuck with him like that. But anyway, he's absolutely right when he says that women put men in different categories. He's absolutely right about that. When he says that there are women that like a man's non-sexual companionship, and they, and there are women that like a man's sexual companionship, and they're different facets. They put men in different categories. There's four different categories. So they want everything from the nigga that they're not attracted to, and that's why they want everything from him, because they're not attracted to him.
Uh-oh.
It works.
Uh-oh. Wait. Okay, okay, okay. Let me start deleting some of these girls out of my motherfucking phone who keep asking me for money. Now I know why them bitches is doing it. Wait, so let's deal with that real quick. Say that one more time.
These women want everything from niggas because they're not attracted to them.
Okay. So is this
That's
the
why
ugly nigga tax?
yes, it is.
Uh-oh.
It
I done got
is.
a, I done got a new video.
It is the ugly nigga tax. You do have to pay a surcharge for that ass.
Okay, okay. Now let's talk a
And,
little bit. Go ahead, go ahead.
that's why a lot of niggas are swole about that. A lot of niggas are swole that they don't want to pay their taxes. You see what I'm saying? They want tax cuts. And I always tell them you can't balance a budget off of tax cuts, no matter how many times the Republicans say it. It's not true. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of niggas are upset that they have to pay that ugly nigga. And this is the real impetus. This is the real anger and rage behind the beta male revolution.
Mm-hmm.
This is what that shit is all about. So yes, they're requiring that shit from niggas that they're not attracted to. Yes. Yes. That's why you have to pay because she's not attracted to you.
Okay, let me say this. Um, Dr. Ford disagrees. The
That's
great
fine.
the great pharmacist out of Arkansas. Tell me why you disagree, because what I'll do is Tony kicking so much game. I wish I'd thought about this. Maybe if Tony has time, I don't know what he's doing right now. I'll allow to call in. Uh, uh,
Bring her
I'll
up
do
here.
the call. Yeah.
Bring,
Okay, Doctor Ford, do you want to come on?
bring
So
her up.
it, okay, so she wants to bring on. Okay, she says she disagrees. She says this. Oh shit! If I talk to you, I talk to you. I don't require anything from anybody. But wait a minute, let me tell a story though. Tony,
Hmm.
got to tell a story about Doctor Ford. Can I tell a story?
Sure.
Like my
Absolutely.
uncle Poochie, rest in peace, said, he used to always say, "We tell a story, right?" Let me tell
Yes.
you this lie. That's what he used to always say. It was always the truth. We said, "Let me tell you this lie." Hello.
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
Okay,
I'm here.
so Doctor Ford, right? Now, and she know where I'm going with this. So she said that's a lie. I'm gonna tell you that lie. That's not. It's not true. I disagree. I'm gonna tell you that I do agree with Tony because I could talk about what happened with me and her. So before I came to Medical University of Lublin, okay, the first year, Doctor Ford, I was on a Facebook group. I never had met her, but we were friends on social media, and we both found out that she was going to pharmacy school and she was there a year before me. I was going to be going to Poland to medical school, but she was a year above me. She was class of 2018. I would be class of white man held me back, so now I'm class 2020. But anyways, so I was close to where she was at. I went to Louisiana, Natchitoches, Louisiana, which was about 50 miles outside of where she was from. Okay, she was like, because my grandmother at the time who was living there is right on the border of Arkansas. So I'm there, like, hey, baby, I'm out here in Louisiana, I had, I was like, I can come rent a car, come down there and see you, what you need me to do. Oh, yeah, that's fine. That's everything is cool. And so I thought we was gonna, hook up. I'm like, man, this is good. She gonna be a pharmacist, gonna be a doctor. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to marry somebody or get with somebody that's in my same field. I was feeling good. She light skinned. I already don't do the light skin thing or anything like that because I'm hella black. But I'm like, my grandma always told me if you get a light skinned girl, brother Tony, you gonna have your kids gonna have good color. So I want my kids. I'm trying to get this black up off me. What up, Naima? So I'm trying to get my kids in for some brown skin. She light, I'm dark. I'm trying to get my shade a little lighter than like the white man, brother Tony. So I went down there, Louisiana, for 2 weeks, and I got my cell phone charged. And guess who I didn't hear from, brother Tony?
Who?
I didn't hear from Dr. Ford, brother Tony. I did not
Oh,
hear. She was nowhere to be found, brother.
surprise, surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
See,
No, wait. Let me finish. Let me finish telling this lie. This is only a lie. This is not the truth. It's only Sister Sparkles, baby. Now you know now how heart how broke my heart was. Now, so I'm sitting here waiting on the phone. I'm sending messages. I'm not getting that much replies and all this. So no problem. Okay, I get back. My step granddaddy. He drive me to Shreveport. I fly from Shreveport to Houston. From Houston to California. 2 days later, I checked Facebook. Guess what I saw?
what?
You did.
Yeah, I'm here.
Doctor
What?
Doctor is in a new relationship with a nigga that looked worse than me.
Mm.
All on the book. Ask me, was this nigga that she was in a relationship with, was he in medical school like me? Ask.
Was he in medical school like you?
I can't believe you asked me that question. You should have knew the answer to that. Hell no, that nigga wasn't in no motherfucking school. So that nigga couldn't even spell school frontwards and can't enunciate. He thinks school is 3 syllables. That's how dumb this nigga was. So doctor, Now she know I'm not. So now Doctor want to be nice to me and everything, but she didn't want me though back then, brother. So it's crazy how things are, how they happen, because she wasn't even thinking about me when she was getting that. That nigga was looking at booty every night. You understand? So it's funny how that works, there, player, because she said if I talk to you, but she didn't have no time for me like 4 years ago. She played the fuck out of me like a Tory.
Well, of
I'm just
course,
tell the
because
story.
they're never gonna confess. And this is one thing that I've said.
Right.
I've had this conversation about with Obsidian. You want a confession? They're not. It's a reason that we have a Fifth Amendment.
Uh
There's
huh.
the Fifth Amendment in the Constitution serves a particular purpose. It's
Mm-hmm.
to prevent a motherfucker from confessing. So they're not gonna confess. They will never confess to that. You have to watch their actions. Of course, what she's saying is not true in my case. That's what she's saying. She's
Mm-hmm.
not saying it's not true. She's saying it's not true in my case. But
Mm-hmm.
she's not gonna tell you about the niggas that she curved. You ain't the only
Oh,
O'Shea Duke
oh,
Jackson in her past somewhere. You ain't the only. She done
oh,
curved another nigga just like you. But she
oh,
got selective amnesia. She don't remember that.
oh.
You ain't the only one. She done curved another nigga. It's what they do. It's what they do. She done curved another one. You know. So that part, they'll never tell you that. And they'll make up some excuse, oh, he wasn't this, or he wasn't that, or he was cheap, or he was this, or he was that's her side of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Now you go back and you hunt down the nigga who it happened to, I'd be willing to bet you he had a drastically different story than what she telling you.
What up, Roast Master? Boy. Did you say selective amnesia? No.
If you didn't exist, she said the same thing. But when somebody bring up, what about this dude O'Shea Duke Jack? Well, with him it was different. I changed addresses. His number dropped out of my phone. I lost his email. I closed my Yahoo account. I got a new Facebook name. It was just an innocent mistake. No,
Mm-hmm.
they ain't gonna never confess. They will never confess. They're not gonna incriminate themselves. So what do you expect? Of course she's gonna say no. Because they know you don't know anything to prove them different. But when you
Mm-hmm.
bring the receipts, then they'll get to justifying and all that shit. Well, that's different. No, it's not different. It is what it is. You know, let's deal with the truth in all of its hideous forms. The nigga that you got now that, he thinks, like you say, he spells or he says school in 3 syllables. That's what you attract to. He don't have to be smart. He just got to have meat. He don't have to be smart. He just
Right.
got to have meat. That's all.
Right.
It's
Right.
all the other shit you want from O'Shea.
Oh, okay.
It's all the other shit. But then she look up and see, whoa, this is the great O'Shea, the proprietor of the Negro Manosphere, and these super chats, and he's a personality. So now you're mitigating your perceived deficiencies. See, that mitigates all of that shit now because
Mm-hmm.
here's the sick thing about women. You only attractive as long as they see other bitches trying to holler at you.
Oh, 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 uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. I gotta. I think she didn't like me because Naima said I had on a nice shirt, one day, and ever since Naima told me I had on a nice Christian shirt, they've been all over me. Naima kicked that off. Naima, you made me hot in Black YouTube, boo. When she said I had my nice little Christian shirt, I love Jesus. Remember that shirt I had on, baby? But let's talk about that. Let's talk about this, right? Because maybe at the time she said it's false. She said it's false. Doctor
Of
Ford,
course,
I'll let you. Okay,
of
Doctor
course,
Ford, you home today? I'll send you the link. Let's talk about it. She said it's false.
of course she gonna say that. Of
Oh,
course
okay,
it's false. What do you expect? What you think she gonna break down and say it's true?
okay,
No.
okay, okay. So for women who feel like that, who else thinks that it's false? You women out there that listen to the thing, okay? So we know that doctor said it's false, but what about anybody else? Anybody else think that it's false? Naima, anybody out here? Anybody think that black women do not want black men until other women want them. I think that's pretty good right there. Let's who thinks it's false? Sparkles, T. Kelly. They're gonna make me open up this phone line in a minute, Professor.
They ain't gonna give no confession. They're not gonna they're not gonna give a confession, dog.
Joy
It's
Day
not.
said it's false.
Yeah. Let them say it.
Okay,
Let
okay.
them say it. See,
False, like I said. Okay,
I don't pay attention to that shit they say. I watch what they do, and their actions are
ah,
entirely different than what they say. It was
okay.
one trick I learned. One thing I learned when I lived in New York City during the blackout of 1977. It's
Mm-hmm.
not who people say they are in the light of day. It's about who they are when the lights go out. So they can say that I don't place any stake or I don't place any relevance in that because I know what they do. And they say, well, I'm different. Yeah, some variants of your personality may be different, but your actions are largely the same.
Okay, let me do this. And shout out to my brother, man. Beats Reloaded. Good to see the brother here. 80,000 subscribers, man. I know I seen you around here before. Shout out to that brother. Let me read off some of the things, Tony, because you have some people who believe that it's true or false. But let's go back and read some of these people right now. And let me
Hmm.
see. Is my hold on, man. White man, hold my camera back. I don't know what's going on. But let me do this. My camera is not working. Uh let's see here. Okay, Warborn said it's true. Thank you, my brother. Uh Infinite misconception to the contrary. I want the reject. Yeah, well, you okay, you got that good English, huh? Let's see. Sparkles from London. False. Jahorium Israel. Super true. Annette B. Hey Annette. False. Grown man business exactly. Beach Reloaded facts. Ty H. Thank you. False. Doug true. Dark Side 90 true. T Kelly true. Kelly Lavella, you're right. William Morton. Okay, Naima, it's true. Dark Side. Okay, Joy Day false. Right? All these people are saying that it's false. Okay, Tony, let's talk about personal experience. All right, and I'm gonna as you are answering, I'm gonna leave out and come back.
Okay.
Has this happened to you before? Like, if you've been with more with women, has it got you more attention from other women than by yourself?
Yes.
It has.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it has. Because when you're by yourself, women perceive that you don't have value. They think that, oh, it's why are you by yourself? What's wrong with you? You understand? Why don't you have another broad? And a lot of times I've been in a situation where I've conducted these little experiments. Even when I don't have a girl, I'll tell a woman that I do. And when I tell that woman I do, I get more phone calls from her than a little bit. And you can shake a stick at that. You see what I'm saying? But when you're alone, they perceive that there's some deficiency. They think that screams of desperation. That's why I always tell guys. I said, even if you don't like the less attractive girls, you should always keep one around because it kills that aura of thirst and desperation. You see, it kills that desire to constantly have a woman because women. That's another thing. Women can smell desperation. Women can smell thirst. So if you got this not so attractive woman around to kill that booty lust, you won't have that desperation and
Did you
thirst
call
about
it
you.
booty lust?
You won't have booty lust. Yeah, you gotta have something to get that booty lust up off you. Because women can smell. They understand that desperation. They understand that thirst, and it's very unattractive. You understand? So I know that women are attracted to men with women. If you have a woman, they want to know that you're fuckable. They want to know that there's something about you that is desirable by other women.
Mm.
Women are envious creatures. They are very envious creatures. I don't know why that is. That's just the way that it is. But they don't see a man as a prize unless he has a woman. Now and I know somebody's gonna twist my argument to make it seem as though I'm saying that they're home wreckers or that they would cheat, and some of them will do that shit too because they do that. But that's not the case. What I'm saying is, women do not find value in you unless another woman finds value in you. Because when you by yourself, they think something's wrong with you. It must be something wrong with you because if you're all that good, why are you single?
Hmm. So okay, let's talk about this then. This could explain some serious issues. So you can have a lot of brothers out there who have a good job, have um good credit, could even be in shape and all of those things. But if these guys do not have um a woman, or the women think that other women want them, all of that is it means nothing. In many cases, it can mean zero.
Okay, I'm
That's what I'm
confused.
asking. No, no. What I'm asking is
Well,
this. So you can have all of these things that make you um on paper a good catch for a woman. You could even be attractive to some women. You could have money. You could have the career. You could have the stability. But if you are a guy that women think that other women do not want you, all of those other things can mean zero.
well, I'm not gonna go so far as to say that. Let's try to because now we're nuancing the
Okay.
argument.
Okay.
Of
Okay.
course, those men would be somewhat attractive. You
Uh huh.
understand?
Uh huh.
Those men would be somewhat attractive in theory, but let's look at how this plays out. If you have a man that is as you described, that man already has two or three women. You see what I'm saying? So the
Mm-hmm.
fact that he has two or three women makes him that elevates his worth. Yeah, he's
Mm-hmm.
already sought after, but the fact that there are a lot of women in line for him, that competition heightens the exhilaration of the chase.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Now she's after him, and
Okay.
she will be willing to shoot her shot in order to see if she can get him. So in
Okay.
that fact, yeah, he's desirable. Yeah, I want him, but all these other bitches are in line. Oh no, these other bitches ain't got what I got. You know, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
rope him. I'm gonna break him. I'm gonna break. He's this
Mm-hmm.
wild stallion that I'm gonna break down. But the nigga who is, the nigga himself, he's hoping you think that way
Okay.
because he got one. What he said himself got one because he knows that you're not going to break him down. He enjoys that lifestyle unless he's coming to a point in his life where he wants something real. But for the most part, if he's out here and he has the run of he has the run of the rule of the roost, he has the world in the palm of his hands.
Okay.
I mean, you just a number. But
Okay.
when women see that, when women see all of that success, and the bitches are lining up for him, it's it's an aphrodisiac.
Okay.
They're going to be drawn to him, and they're going to do something to make themselves noticeable to him. So the fact
Okay.
that that type of dude generally has women in line for him anyway, and it makes
Okay.
him more attractive than what he already is. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, now I totally agree with that. Let me do this. Shout out to some people in the chat. Grown man business, man. All the guys at work over here huddle around me like we're about to run the play, soaking up this truth 100. Hashtag grown man facts. Thank you, my brother. I always see you in the chat. Dennis for $5. Listen, we're trying to get you niggas through work. Okay, we sacrificing. You know what I mean? To get you niggas through the work. Now, don't fuck around and get your ass fired because I can't hire you niggas because I can't even get you niggas to like the motherfucking video for free. I cannot help you niggas if you get on another warning. Some of y'all taking extra long breaks. You niggas smoking weed in your car. Okay, you niggas is getting up, going stealing people's lunches and shit. You know how you niggas be. All right, so I don't want to get in. If you get fired, don't be hitting me up talking about, O'Shea. Well, I was the reason why you got to. No, nigga, you should have watched the replay when you get your motherfucking ass home. But let me
Go
let
get
me
some
say this.
headphones.
Yeah, get some earphones. Professor, let me talk to you about this. Okay, so this is what I think when we talk about black women, and as you know, I've been living in Poland. What I'm gonna say it might sound like some bullshit, but hear me out. Hear me out. Shout out to Taz and Ashley W in the building. Black women, like a lot of guys think that it's about looks, right? And you got to be a good looking guy. Don't get me wrong, that helps. If you're a good looking guy, and also I found this out to be in Africa too. If you are African women, apply to this as well as Black American women. If you are a guy that is good looking or tall or something like that, obviously that's always going to help. But you can be a guy who is not considered conventionally good looking and tall or something like that. or you could even be fat. But if those women think that somebody wants you, or you are desired, or you not really thirsty for them like that, you can still get a pass. Because I've seen
Yeah,
Wody. I mean, I will say this, not to shit on what you heard of Wody Maya, right?
I've seen Walter Maya. Yeah,
Okay,
I've seen Walter.
you know me and Wody. I've met Wody Maya more than once.
Yes.
Okay, I've seen Wody Maya like in Kenya in the club.
Hmm.
This motherfucker is like 5'2",
Okay.
5'3", little bitty nigga. I've seen how how girls react to him. Like it's like you would think that it's like Jesus just got off the cross or something like that. When you're in Africa, if you go somewhere World Maya like in Kenya, where a lot of people know this nigga, right?
Hmm.
And he's not the conventional guy that like an African girl would like. But it's perceived that obviously he is somebody that's has a lot of confidence and that will get you in. But here's the thing: black women will make you go around the corner for that shit. In Poland, though, and in like Ukraine and stuff like this, all women, I believe, Tony, want a guy that other women want. But I think black women, though, more so, they really care what other black women think. Like in Poland, everybody thinks somewhat more of a socialistic thing. If you are a guy that's going to get into a certain industry, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be something like this. More women are more like, okay, this is a respectable guy I can start a family with and stuff like that. I think though that with black women though, they don't really look at it the same exact way. So I think really that being able to get having other women want you is more important for black women because they want to be able to brag to their friends like, look who I'm dating, look who I'm with, you know. Versus the other groups. This is why I think a lot of guys that come from the black community they go deal with a white women or Asian women. Those women are not really looking at the fact that okay, I think this is a guy that can get a lot of girls. They're looking at the other factors like okay, this guy is stable. This guy has a good career. He reminds me of like my dad and stuff like this. I think that's. I don't. Am I wrong about this?
I would say this. I would say
Okay.
that. Let me say this.
Okay.
All women typically want a guy that's somewhat attractive.
Yeah. Sure.
All women want that. You got to be fuckable. Okay, you can't be 500 pounds in your mouth. I mean, that's not gonna cut it. But I will say this: black women seem to be, from my experience, much more covetous of other women's men than other cultures.
Why do you think
And
that is?
other
Why do you think that
because
is?
because again they come from a background where they don't see very many men. And again, our culture, I said this morning, I say it again, our culture is dysfunctional. Black women tend to have very shallow, you talk about expectations, they have shallow expectations. They look for nigger victories. So if they can create any type of jealousy, they're going to do it. So if they got a man that another bitch want, that's a victory. Now the nigga probably ain't giving them a dime, but the fact that other bitches want him, she cool with that. The fact that other women
Nigga
are
victory.
running behind him and covetous of him, she's cool with that. Now he probably ain't providing shit. He probably
Oh
ain't
man,
doing anything.
that's so
But the
true.
fact that she can show him off as a trophy,
Oh yeah.
the fact that she can, it's like that Eddie Murphy. I got my ice cream and you can't get that type of childish shit. So if they can do some shit like that to them, that's a nigga victory. And then they find out too late that that's just not enough for a relationship. Now, if you're talking about other groups of women do tend to be somewhat long term in their application. They do tend to think, well, okay, and then especially when you're dealing with black men, because that brings on a whole new nuance. Because when a white woman chooses a black man, in a
hmm
very real sense, she loses her whiteness card. You understand?
Say that again.
So when
Yeah, say it again.
when a white woman chooses a black man, she loses her whiteness card. She
Okay.
loses the privilege of her skin color because you've gone beyond the door of no return. In their society. So when you choose a black man, if you're a white woman, you choose a black man. You're You can't come back. It's a wrap. It's over for
Mm.
the most part.
Right,
It's
right.
over. You see. So when they choose someone, if they're going to choose a man, you will. In other words, you will see more white women in long-term relationships with a Clarence Thomas
Mm-hmm.
than you will see black women with a Tom Willis
Ah, okay.
or George Jefferson.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So you're more likely to see a white woman married to, and I'm talking about marriage now. I'm talking about long term because I got to make these distinctions because niggas just jump on anything. You'll see them in a long term relationship or in a marriage partnership
Okay.
with a nigga like Clarence Thomas
Okay.
before
Okay.
you see a black woman with a white man like Tom Willis. You understand?
Right.
So I hope that answers your question. And I'm trying to say it. This is what I'm trying to say. They tend to be much more methodical. It's not that they don't have their little thought culture. It's not that they don't, have their thought periods because they
Mm-hmm.
go through periods. They go through these periods of extreme thottery where they get ran through too. So they're not super virtuous. But white women are smart enough not to do two things for the most part. For the most part, again, you got to put qualifiers when you're dealing with niggas. For the most part, they tend not to get pregnant. For the most part, they tend not to get pregnant, and for the most part, they tend to plan family or long-term mating strategies much more effectively and methodically than black women do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me shut up. Clarence Thomas had a black wife first. I didn't know he did that. Okay. Jerome
So did
Jerome Jerome Israel O'Shea keeps it. Thank you, my brother. Nana Welbeck. Peace, O'Shea. You've been putting in much work with all this new content, brother. We appreciate the effort. Let me talk about this. Now, I know this is a new, but Thomas Sowell. Is Thomas Sowell married to a white lady? Or
I heard he was, but I'm not for certain. I read his books. I read his books. I have
yeah.
some criticisms of his books. I don't take them as absolutes, but I have some criticisms. But I think he is married to a white woman. I think he is. I'm not certain. I haven't seen her. That's what I've heard.
Okay,
So,
okay.
but it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me because again, those men are not in high demand during when they're full of piss and vinegar in their summer and spring years. Those men are not in high demand in the black community. You know,
Mm-hmm.
our culture of signifying and style over substance alienates those men. So it is not at all unusual for those men to wind up marrying white women.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. Okay, for do you think, and I won't hold you, so much longer, but guys, do me a
Hold me
favor.
as long as you need, because I enjoy this.
Okay, let's do this, guys. We'll keep Tony on for some few more minutes, but I need you, brothers and sisters out there. Hallelujah. I got to beg for the free shit. Okay, we're gonna pass the offering of likes around. Okay, I need 48 of you church members over here at Saint Slap a Bitch Missionary Baptist Church to get the likes up. Okay. Jesus paid it all on the cross. This for the building fund. So like the video for the building fund. Break yourself as simple the people say for the likes. All right. I really would appreciate you, brothers and sisters, for liking the video. Thank you. 366. Okay. If you could take me to 400, I would really appreciate it. Go ahead on. And whoever disliked it, your mama's a hoe. Won't let you know that right now. Your mama's a hoe and she's going to keep being a hoe. She might be my hoe. All right. So if you dislike it, she's a hoe. All right. Because I'm just letting you niggas know. I know what you're trying to be funny with your punk ass. You niggas think you something funny. You think I got something for you niggas. Don't worry about nothing. So thank you, brothers and sisters, for the free likes. Cause I know what you niggas is trying to do. I'm a dislike it. Since she asked for, that's 3 more you niggas dislike the kitchen. Mamas are all of them hoes. All right. That's what she's gonna be selling coochie for free 99, nigga. All right. 400. Thank you so much for the support. Let me what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something, but the white man held me back, brother. Um, okay, here's the situation. I know, like in Chicago, right? It was so many killings that was going down. There was a movie where these black women said to stop the killings in Chicago, they were gonna withhold sex from the gang members. I don't remember who heard about that. Who heard
I
about
did.
that? You heard
I
about
heard
that?
about it. Yeah, I
Okay.
heard about it.
You heard about that. So let me go ahead and make Taz a moderator for y'all. Just start, timing them out and banning them for no reason. So let me do this. Um, so let's see if this theory is true. If black women started to say, okay, you niggas are not gonna get no pussy unless you go to college and become engineers, or you Negroes is not gonna do any of this or that. So could
All
black
your low
women
ass.
change black men overnight by withholding sex? Do you think if they were to say we not giving you niggas no pussy until you start going to school and building communities, what do you think? I mean,
I don't even think that. I'm sorry I had to say this, but I don't think that black women have that kind of willpower. I just don't.
oh, okay, okay, we,
I
we we
think
understand
they
that,
have
but
willpower to withhold, and I don't think that that's them because they like to get it in as much as the men do. That's terror. That's a quiet little secret. They like to fuck as much as men do. But
right.
the answer to your question is, do I think that men would change because they withheld sex? Do I think they would change? I think that would affect some men in saying that they had to get out and do something, but I'm not confident because here's the thing: if you're changing for somebody else, you're not really changing though. If someone has to force you to do something, it's not something you really want to do, and if you don't want to do it, you're not going to finish it. You're not going to follow through with it. It's just like a female that will tell a dude just because they want him for a second. They say, well, I'm a cook and clean. Now that bitch can't make ramen noodles, but she telling you that just to get what she want up out of you or to get you to kick it with her. And then after you kick it with her, you realize this bitch can't boil ramen noodles
Okay.
in a microwave. You understand?
Right.
So if someone has to force you or intimidate you into doing it, it's probably not going to turn out good. So my answer to your question would have to be no.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that that would be a motivating factor. The men have to change because it's in their interest to change.
Okay.
And then pussy is at such a low premium amongst that group. Them the niggas that's fucking. Who you boycotting? That ain't affecting him. That ain't affect the nigga that's doing the shooting because that's the nigga you fucking. The niggas that's doing most of the violent shit is the niggas that's already fucking. That doesn't solve their problems. You boycotting the wrong niggas
Okay.
because they already got two or three babies by you. So what do they care? You understand?
Mm-hmm.
You have to give a motherfucker a term that you think threatens them. There has to be some loss. You ain't fucking me no more, cool, bitch. I ain't trying to pay no child support anyway. I'm out. You understand? You know. So that that does nothing. That that does nothing, man. It
That's a
doesn't.
good show topic. If black women withheld sex with Pookie and Ray Ray, okay. So let me ask you then this. Okay, let me ask you then. Let's just flip the situation. If black men said, okay, we're not gonna theoretically, let's say if a percentage of them withheld their attention and their finances and their help for women, and started doing stuff to do industries and create their own beauty pageants and stuff like that. Do you think that men could force women to change by taking away their attention, their resources from women and helping women and changing the standard to a certain level for women to achieve? Do you think that that would make women change? Black women, if the men did the opposite?
I think that if men were able to exact the consequence, I think they would change. I think if they understood to a certain degree, because if your fate is tied in with him, if your existence is tied in with him, and you depend on him, you would have to change, or else you would cease to exist. Now, does it mean her sexual desire or attraction for another motherfucker gonna go away? No, that's not what that means. That's not what that means. It means they will be a little more observant of their behavior in certain instances. Yes, I think that they would change their conduct if black men had the right to exact a consequence. If black
Okay.
men are in power and can enforce the consequence, I
Mm-hmm.
think that would change their behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that it's going to disappear. Or you're going to change their nature,
Mm-hmm.
but you may change their behavior. Yes, because power, and I'm gonna say this, and this may sound chauvinist, power is a masculine enterprise, not a feminine. The
Power
the,
is
the
what do
true
you mean
word
by what do you mean by that?
power is a masculine dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Power. Who are the majority of the people in the armed forces? They're men. Who are the
Yes,
majority of the people on the police force? They're men. Who are the majority of the men in the fire department? They're men. Who is the president? He's a man. In contemporary modern society, power is controlled by men, not women. Power is a masculine enterprise. The true worth of a race is said that the true worth of a race is measured by the character of its woman, but the respect shown a race is measured by the power of its men.
mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
If the men are weak, I mean, if the men are weak, the women are just spoils of war. In any history, in any point where you see a group of men come in and conquer and dominate another one, what's the first thing they do? They take the women. After they've broken the men and broken the warrior class of men, they take the women.
That's true.
That's where the term booty came from. The term booty is a spoil of war.
That is true. Yeah. Oh, that is true.
So after they break the nigga, they take the booty.
Oh man.
So you have to have power. Power is a masculine enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And if women understand that black men are empowered and they have the ability to exact a consequence, you damn right they're gonna listen to them, or they're gonna pay a price for that.
Like,
They're
let
gonna
me.
suffer the consequences for it.
You know what's funny, right? Like, okay, I'm in Uganda, as everybody knows, and I noticed like when you approach a chick, O'Shea, we aren't together anymore. You broke my heart, boo. In 2014, I'm still recovering. 2015, actually, I'm still recovering from how you did me, but I'm not mad no more though. Shout out to Dr. Ford. She don't like me telling that story, but let me say this right. You know, in America, and shout out to ABL because I do agree with a good portion of some of the things he says, right? Because I will consider myself in that kind of Negro, black conservative kind of crew. But he made a point that black women will not change because um, they will rely on the government for a lot of the things. I think that's fair, and I'm gonna tell you why I think that's fair. If you go talk to a black woman, and many of you brothers have done it, you know you could be respectful. Excuse me, you look very pretty today. You know what's your name? How many of you niggas ever got? I ain't got a name. Like, or they just ignore you and keep walking like they don't see you. Like, nigga, why the fuck you talking to me? I would never talk to nobody like you. Like, nigga, are you look at you and look at me? Why are you even approaching me? You bum ass nigga. How many of you brothers have ever had that happen to you at a club or at in the streets? I don't got a name, nigga. Who you talking to? Like, nigga, why are you talking to me? Um, if you're a brother, you've had that happen to you in America. Press two. Press two. If you are a brother that's happened to you in America before any of those things, like who the fuck you think you talking to? Worse, okay? Let me tell you this. I explained this to several Ugandan women, like this situation happens in America. And do you know what those Ugandan women said? Tony?
Yep.
They said if
They
you
say
do go ahead. Guess what they said?
if if they do that in where they are, Mufasa check where they going up in their mouth.
Will knock their teeth to the side of the motherfucking street out here.
Hell, hell yeah. There's a
And
consequence. See, here, bitches use the police to keep their man in check.
Right.
They use the police to keep, because I can't tell you, O'Shea, the number of calls I have gotten. When I used to get the domestic violence, I used to love those calls because I know they were never going anywhere. I know that nigga was not gonna skip on that domestic violence because I know what happened. What happened was he was out fucking another bitch, and he was
Hmm.
too stupid to put a password lock on his phone. She went through his phone, got in his Facebook account, saw these naked bitches in his inbox, and saw these phone numbers. He came home high or drunk from the strip club or from some other bitch's house, and they got into it, and he pushed her. And what happened was she called the police because that's her way of keeping. She got to the phone first. She got to the phone first, called the police because she want to show him, that you gonna listen to what the fuck I have to say. So she gets to the phone, she calls the police, she get him locked up. He ain't gonna stay locked up, but she done got him locked up.
Right.
So now he in jail, he's crying, please come get me, babe. I've been there for you. I know I ain't perfect and I fucked up and I made some mistakes, but it's just me and you against the world. And I can't believe you gonna let this come between our happy home and all that kind of crazy ass shit. And then before you know it, he got her broke down crying on the phone. Well, what you want me to do? Shit, come get me up out of here. I need to bounce and hurry up before they put me on the floor. They about to put me on the floor. I'm in the bullpen right now, but hurry up before they put me on the floor. Well, I ain't got nothing but the rent money. Shit, bring that rent money and call that bail bondsman. When I get out, I can flip it. Shit, I can flip it and make that back. Come get me up out this motherfucker. Okay, she gonna come get him up out of there. She gonna pick him up. She gonna drag her baby out at 3 or 4 in the morning to the jail to get this nigga out. After she get this nigga out, they gonna go through the little 24-hour drive-through convenience store in the black community. They gonna get them some white aisle rolling paper. They gonna get them some weed. They gonna smoke. They gonna fuck. And by the morning, they forgot what that shit's all about. And she ain't going to court and testify against them because for right now, everything is cool. He doing what he's supposed to do because he trying to keep from getting locked up, you know, and he's being nice and obedient. He's healing when she want him to heal, and he's the best nigga in the world until that case gets dismissed.
Then it's back on. It's back on to
Back
the.
on again. You understand? So
Right.
here they can call somebody and make the nigga heal. Here they can invoke the government to check a nigga.
Yeah.
You can't invoke the government on Mufasa Checkwele. You
Yeah.
catching a two-piece with a biscuit and you're gonna be laid out in the street.
Yeah. Yeah. Like just the other day, like some nigga that was a motorcycle driver, like 3 days ago, um, some dude had like stole some stuff from the other guy, and the other motorcycle guys, man, they beat him to death, like 2 miles down the street. That's one thing I would say I like about Africa, a little bit more than America is you ain't gonna never get a woman that's gonna if you try to talk to a woman is never gonna be like real mean to you. She's never gonna say like nigga who you talking. It's just not in their culture to do that. You know what I mean? If they don't talk to you, they'll be nice about it. But you're never gonna get nigga who you talking to, why you talking to me? Never gonna get that. Ever.
Their
Because they
mouth comes with a built-in filter
yeah,
because they
because out
understand the
here,
consequences.
yeah, yeah. These guys are actually, especially like in South Africa, man, those dudes are brutal. You know, to if you talk to dudes crazy out, these guys really deal with their women in ways that we could never do that kind of stuff in America and get away with it. But here, I mean, these niggas they'll walk up to a female and just steal the phone. You can have a phone and just bitch, give me your phone and just walk off. Don't try to get it back either. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah, because he really gonna dog walk you if you reach up to try to take it back.
yeah,
And who? I mean, who you gonna call? Who? He got your phone. Who the fuck you gonna call?
yeah, yeah. It's real out here. So, but anyways, let me do this. 523. Now, Tony, let's talk about powerandstrategy.com, man. We know you write for Negro Manosphere. I know Roland Martin. Roland Martin, he emailed you, right? You wrote an article on Roland Martin. He actually read it, right?
Yeah, what happened was I wrote an article called Why Boyce Watkins and Roland Martin are both right. I think that's what it was. And put it on the Negro Manosphere. And Roland Martin was responding to these people that were saying, you shouldn't vote, don't vote, hold your vote. And hold on, I don't know who the hell this is. Okay, he was responding to someone. He was responding to the conscious community, niggas and the Hotep niggas. He was responding to them because they were talking about don't vote, and Boyce Watkins took exception to him saying that that's mainly what he was saying in essence is that's ignorant shit coming from these Hotep niggas. That I'm paraphrasing his argument. And Boyce Watkins thought that that was condescending, and his thing was that without economic power, you don't have much. And this is something that I've been talking about for years. This is why I don't listen to the Hotep niggas when they start talking about the civil rights movement, and this is why I don't listen to Roland Martin a lot of times. Well, I don't put too much credibility in him because to me, Roland, he says he was. He says that he isn't. He told me that he wasn't. But Roland Martin is a shield for the Democratic Party. That's what
Yes,
he is.
he
He's
definitely
a
is.
shield for the Democratic Party. He claims that he isn't, but he is.
He is.
Anytime you dancing with Hillary Clinton, I'm sorry, ain't no coming back from that. I see you with Hillary Clinton. It's a wrap for me at that point. So I said that if you just have uh, economic power, you don't have the police powers to protect it. You're fooled because the people that want your economic power will take it, as they did in Rosewood, as they did in Tulsa, as they did in East St. Louis, as they did in a number of cities across the country. If you don't have a means to protect anything you got, you ain't gonna have this shit long. And then by the same token, if you don't have any economic power behind your political platforms, you just gonna be the Democratic Party's booty call. They're gonna bring you in, but then when the sun begins to rise, they're gonna kick your ass out the door because they don't want to be seen with you except for every 4 years. You good for every 4 years. That's it. You understand? So my
Mhm.
thing was you need both of them. You can't have one without the other. You're going to have both centers building itself simultaneously at the same time. You need an economic infrastructure and you need a political infrastructure. And that's not going to be something that's found in any one particular party. You should uh, barter for your vote. And sometimes the answer may not be in either the Democratic or Republican Party. It may be an independent thing. And you may not, and some people say, well, you can't do that at the national level, and you're right, but you can do it at the state level. You can do it at the municipal level. It's very effective. I've seen it. So he wrote me back because he took exception with me calling him a shield for the and he said he liked the article, but he disagreed you know, uh, with him being a shield. I said, well, I've never heard you support anybody else except the Democrats. And then he ran down a list of people, some, the sisters that ran under the independent banner for judges in Texas. He said he supported them. I said, well, I've never seen. I said, it's quite possible I have been mistaken, but I've never seen you stump for anybody but the Democratic Party. You know. And he said, no, I'm not a Democratic shield. I said, well, until I see different, that's what you are.
How many
And
emails did you go back and forth with him about like?
it wasn't that many. It was probably about two or three. It wasn't that much. It was just something I could tell, but it bothered him though. It
Mm,
bothered him. Tariq Nasheed had been on him about that.
mm-hmm.
Especially when he made that video about I dance for Massa, and then Rolly and the dude that did shit. That stung him. That hurt him when he did. I could tell that that did him, and he's had a couple of toss ups with Tariq Nasheed. So my thing was that you have to have both, and we shouldn't be married to one party or the other, but whoever serves our interests. That's always been my platform. And so he responded to me, on that. But it was mainly just to tell me he wasn't a front for the Democratic Party. He wasn't a shield for the Democratic Party. That's what, and that's he specifically said that to me. And another thing, I'm not a shield for the Democratic Party. Yeah, okay, whatever.
Man, he was out there. I think ABL had I pulled up on Roland Martin. Like ABL was gonna do something or whatever. But anyways,
Maybe yeah, maybe
yeah,
yeah.
I pulled up on Roland Martin. ABL, stop it. No, but I definitely feel that you're right. ABL would definitely agree with that. You know, ABL is definitely. I mean, Roland Martin is definitely. I believe he is that shield. He is. I mean,
And I
anything that is. He is the tag dog of anything I think that's pro black, that's pro anything anti-liberal. They always send Roland Martin to go out and attack those people, whether they be black conservatives, whether it be the pro-black community, whether it be Roland Martin is going to be out to attack you on anything. He's always the first. He even showed up at the little Trump, the black, like why was he there at the White House at the Trump, at the 400 young black conservatives meetup? He showed up. They always send him to fuck things up.
I think he was there because one, it's easy press. Because let's be honest, the black community is a conservative community, but it's a different brand of conservatism than the Trump conservatism. You understand? Black people have always believed in God, church, have always believed in family, God, and the church. We've always believed in businesses. We've always believed in entrepreneurial ability, even when we didn't necessarily understand everything that went into it. We have had a history of believing in those paragons of conservative virtue. But what Trump's conservatism is, that's something else. That is the conservatism of Donald Trump is not the conservatism of Booker T. Washington. It's not the same thing.
Why do you
You
say?
understand?
Why do you say that? That's an interesting point. That's another show we can do.
Because
But why do you say that?
because the conservatism of Booker T. Washington has to do with black people kindling their resources and creating their own independent infrastructure by taking over the industry, the
Farming and
industries,
agriculture.
production. Yes, yes, and technology,
Mm-hmm,
arguably
mm-hmm,
technology. I don't recall Booker T. Washington talking about subsidies. I don't recall Booker T. Washington talking about tax cuts. I don't recall Booker T. Washington talking about the types of issues that Republicans talk about in terms of health care, in terms, it's always that type of conservatism. What it is aristocracy. It's to help some more rich white people steal from everyone else.
mm-hmm,
That's what that is about. That is about the centralization of wealth and power in American society versus
mm-hmm,
Booker T. Washington's thing is about was empowerment based. It
mm-hmm,
was about empowering society. Where the conservative platform that doesn't empower Black America, you
mm-hmm.
know. And when I did an article, I do a lot of these articles. They're starting to run together, but I did one about James Brown, the black capitalism, James Brown and Richard Nixon, where he came and he was talking about, well, we're going to bring black capitalism, and we're going to ensure that the ghetto gets a piece. And then he turned around and he created an office that didn't cost him a dime to create, which was the Office of Business and Minority Enterprises. He did that by executive order, by the way, and set up this office. And he co-opted James Brown into his platform and told him, well, this is what we're going to do for the ghetto. He said all that shit, but he didn't put any money behind it. But what his plan did do was it said that private industry had to invest, essentially invest in the ghetto. And that was never going to happen. They would never, no one is going to fund your empowerment. No
Right.
one is going to fund, you know, your community's rise. That's people don't pay someone else's bills. That it was never going to happen. They even promised that they were going to deposit a certain amount of uh, taxpayer money or tax revenue
Mm-hmm,
into some black banks in order to jumpstart, or in order to boost, black economic activity in the so-called ghetto. And none of that shit ever happened. And come to find out, he was just saying that because he was trying to pacify and squelch the radicalism that was existing in the black community at that time. In other words, he said, if you give black people a piece of the pie, they won't be out in the street burning shit down, was what he was saying. So
mm-hmm,
it was just political theater meant to calm niggas down. It was
mm-hmm,
nothing behind any of it.
mm-hmm,
And then he's caught on tape. He's caught on tape saying, when James Brown was trying to call him and ask him, he said, "Hey, Mr. President, what's going on with our plan?"
mm-hmm,
Nixon started dodging his phone calls. He wouldn't return his phone calls. And then when, of course, he got caught with Watergate and all that other shit. And then when they released his tapes, he is caught on tape saying, "Look, enough of that black stuff." You see what I'm? Enough of that. And it was his program, but enough of that black stuff.
mm-hmm.
So When I came across this stuff, they were talking about what Donald Trump said he was going to do. I said, this is the same shit. It's the same playbook over and over again.
Mhm.
Nobody is going to fund your empowerment. It's not going to happen. It will never happen. You have to be responsible for your own empowerment. They're not going to do it for you.
But let me say this. Shout out to Matt Blaylock. What up, Markel? I see Markel. Boy, Matt Blaylock says more. Boy, I try to save as much as money as possible, but this content is just too good not to donate. There was a brother that said that Booker T. Washington was a coon. Let me kind of talk about this real quick. And Tony, you're more of a history buff than I am, but I know that right after slavery, one of the things that was happening in the South was that white people were afraid that black people were going to come in and obviously, they start to vote. And one of the tactics that they were using after slavery is you saw a lot of blacks, free blacks, getting hit up on trumped up charges, on fake charges to go into what is now the prison system and work in the fields. So this was the tension right after the Civil War. Okay, you had black men being, that couldn't go to the North. You had them being targeted by former white slave owners who had now lost, some of those people, right, have lost their privilege and things like that. And so they were trying to legally get these people back for cheap labor. Booker T. Washington was not left with much of a choice but to come to the table with things like the Atlanta Compromise and stuff like that. Because listen, at that point, do you want black people to be slaughtered in the South? Yeah, listen. Okay, if you fund our people to educate them and help take the country into the Industrial Revolution, which they did with recruits from like George Washington Carver out of Iowa, and defeating the Bo Weevil plant, he had to have black people. He couldn't come with that type of attitude at that time because we could have been decimated during the South. Those of us that were there, it could have been really bad. So when you say that Booker T. Washington was a coon, number one, Tuskegee University, okay, they defeated the boll weevil with George Washington Carver. I don't know how
Yes.
many black farmers got on at that time or were able to sustain themselves. And I think if we would have really stuck a little bit more with the method, we would have really owned a lot more farming and industrialization than we do right now. So I really don't understand how people go ahead and call people like Booker T. Washington a coup. Man, Booker T. Washington is probably one of the, I don't care what you think he did. There at that time, he made the most logical and best decision for black people that would not resulted in just all out death. But what do you think about this, Tony? Because you're a little bit more of a better history, but you're better than me at this. What do you think? Was Booker T. Washington a coup in your opinion?
No, Booker T. Washington was the ultimate pragmatist.
Right.
Booker T. Washington said this. He said that integration will never produce excellence, but excellence will produce integration. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
In other words, if a man is an excellent doctor and your ass is on the table, you want to live, don't you? You don't care whether that hand that's on that knife is black or white. You want to live.
Right.
You understand? So if we're talking about excellence, excellence doesn't have a color. Either either you got the shit you need or you don't. Either
Mm-hmm.
you can perform at a level of competency, or you can perform at a level above average, or however you want to say it, or you can't. They're going to look for the person who's able to do the job. And that was Booker's point. Booker T. Washington was a man of his time. He was a man of his period. You got to look at what was happening during that period. After the Civil War, you had massive guerrilla warfare being conducted against the South, in the South, by white men that were part of the Democratic Party, arguably. The Ku Klux Klan was conducting these terrorist raids on not only black people but white people. John Hope Franklin said that black Reconstruction, that was when we had black people in government offices. We had black governors, senators, representatives in state houses, and they tended to produce bills that had to do with infrastructure building. That had They were doing the same thing Booker was doing. They, you know, drafted these bills that had to do with, free public education, improvement of schools, everything that you would do in the community. And, a lot of white critics will say, well, there was a lot of government spending. Well, yeah, there's a lot of government spending if you're building the infrastructure. But anyway, let me get back to my point.
Mhm.
Is that during Black Reconstruction, you had a lot of violence, and that violence was successful in taking these Black people from power. So it
Mhm.
was later codified with this thing called white home rule. Well, essentially, they told white people, let's go back to business as usual. And so Booker T. Washington told them, in essence, look, if these people are illiterate, untrained, and starving, they may want to steal. And since they don't have anything, they're not going to steal from themselves. They're going to steal from you. You understand? So it would be intelligent. It would be the epitome of intelligence to let them build their own infrastructure, and they don't need to bother you.
Mhm.
You don't even know you don't even need to know we're here, because we will be content with our own society. We don't need to necessarily ask for inclusion into your society, because we'll build our own. So we're not as concerned about the ballot box, because that was the one thing that whites were terrible. They did not want to live under black rule. They were just not going to live under black rule. It was as simple as that. So Booker T. Washington understood that black political power at that time, that was non-negotiable. So he had to use what he had to work with, and what he had to work with was agrarian sciences, industrial sciences, and some very, very basic entrepreneurial enterprises that he could use to lift the black community. But you can't do that if people are burning your shit down. You can't
Mhm.
do that if they're lynching your scholars. You can't do that, if people are constantly tearing up and burning down your communities.
Mhm.
You got to have space. Booker T. Washington traded time for space.
Mhm.
He needed the space to develop Tuskegee. So he was very pragmatic in what he did. Now,
Mhm.
was it the complete solution? No.
Mhm.
It was a solution in progress, because one thing naturally leads to the other. Because if you have something, anybody that have something is going to do whatever's necessary to protect it and defend it. You see how that works? One thing leads to another. So if you have businesses and you have schools, you need representation, right?
Mhm.
Well, if you need representation, you got to select representation. But
Mhm.
you got to start with the basics. You got to start with the fundamental. You have to get something. You
Mhm.
have to have something, and then you have to build an apparatus to protect it. So,
Mhm.
he was a man of his age. He was a man of his times. He was tremendously practical. He used to say, "Well, what will feed you? You're here for your family. You're here to help feed your family. Now, you can do that if you know how to farm, or you can do that speaking Greek. Which one you think is going to feed your family more effectively?" You understand?
Yes,
So there
sir.
was a pragmatism to him.
Yes,
He
sir.
was very practical in that it doesn't mean anything. What does it mean when you have some and they're gonna take that shit from you? And you
Mhm.
up here talking about equal protection under the law? No, Negro, you better get on this sharecropping plantation. Yeah, you can work there. And that was something else that Booker T. Washington thought sharecropping was an abominable evil. He hated it because he thought it was akin to slavery, and it was. He thought it was the worst form of exploitation. That's why he wanted to have independent black agricultural institutions. That's why he wanted to have industrial institutions, because it was the best and most effective way to fight against the exploitative enterprise of sharecropping. That was the point of Tuskegee in the first place. So
Mhm.
was he a coon? Of course he. No, he wasn't a coon. He was nowhere near a coon. He just had to use the tools that were available to him in his era, and he did that, and he did it magnificently. Was it complete? Was it perfect? No, it wasn't, but it was effective.
I mean, like I said, you know way more about it in detail than I do, but I know enough to know. Based on what we got to do, we got to do that AG Gaston stream. I know we should do it in Black History Month, but again, I'm gonna go ahead
Oh,
on. We gonna
he was an acolyte of Booker T. Washington. Gaston was.
Oh
He
yeah,
was an
yeah.
acolyte of Booker T.
And
Washington.
anybody who like Marcus Garvey, come on, man, like Marcus Garvey. Like, who do you think a lot of these people that in the Pan African movement? Who did they study? Who did a lot of African countries study? Right when you had Ghana as the Gold Coast, and you had people that were looking to eventually get their separation from the colonial masters. Everybody looked at who? They looked at Booker T. Washington.
Marcus Garvey didn't come here to see W.E.B. Du Bois.
They
Marcus
hate each other.
Garvey,
Yeah.
yeah, they hated. He didn't come here to see William Monroe Trotter. He didn't come here to see anybody at the Niagara Convention or anybody in the NAACP. He came here to see Booker T. Washington. That's who he came here to see. How is it possible that the most unapologetic Pan Africanist that has ever existed would not come here to see other people protesting for civil rights? Why? Because he got common sense. You can protest all day, but if you don't have anything, it ain't gonna mean much. And if you have something, you gotta protect it, or you ain't gonna keep it. But you gotta get it first. You have to get it first. That's what it was about. And that's what Booker T. Washington's platform was about. Making black people into productive citizens. Because when they unleashed us from slavery, we were free. Free to do what? Free to starve.
Right.
And then they come around with the 13th Amendment that says the slavery is abolished except for the convicted felon. And then they started the implementation of chain gangs and forced labor and the convict leasing program where they had loaning niggas out to corporations. Mm-hmm. You were loaned out to corporations to do work for the railroad companies. Mm-hmm. You know, that John D. Rockefeller made a mint off the convict leasing program because he didn't pay anything for the labor. That's some hideous shit that they did. Right. So Booker T. Washington was saying, let's build your own society. Let's build our own paradise. There's nothing more practical than that. Hell, Elijah Muhammad was an acolyte of Booker T. Washington.
Yeah, yes he was. Yes he was. And the brother Eugene, shout out to LAR Movement, likes up respect to 75. And then from the Marcus Garvey gave rise to Elijah Muhammad, Ho Chi Miles Revolution. Tony, do you have time to maybe guest star with us tonight on the Brother PL, brother?
Oh yeah, I'll be here. No problem, bro.
All right. So it's George Megan going. I told you, man, like Tony Maceo, and we got a lot of smart guys, but I gotta say this real quick.
Is George in here?
Yeah, George is always in there. George is in there arguing my brother CACA. My brother CACA is a very intelligent Ghanaian brother. And when I made a video about how a Ghanaian wrote his reparations, oh boy, he tore into me. That brother wrote about a 2,000-word essay. He's what I call one of my favorite moderators. He's Mr. Long-winded. Like when he typed dissertations in the comments, and then he tell me, "Oh shit, go ahead on and pin my comment to the top, player." So everybody, so I say okay. So I go and I pin it to the top, and it didn't have a lot of likes, but. You know what I mean? And people will spend about 13 years reading all that damn shit he be writing. But that's my brother. He's really, and he be getting on Alan Roger Curry ass. He gets on everybody ass in the Manosphere CACA. He gets on everybody ass. And you know what, you moderators? I don't even get involved in y'all shit no more because y'all niggas all abuse your power except Doug. All of you niggas will abuse your power like shit. This is why I had to make people moderators in the chat like Taz. Let me say this. All right, Taz do be on streams talking a lot of shit, but Taz will come over and just say, "Hello, how you doing?" So all of a sudden, Taz, hi from the channel. Taz timed out. I'm like, but the niggas didn't even say nothing. You know what I mean? So you moderator niggas, y'all are some real Crips or Bloods, or you niggas, you can't give niggas power. So then, therefore, I have to make niggas moderators just so they can come over and talk so they won't get timed out. You know what I mean? So this is what, I know brother Blake, you don't do that. Brother and brother CG3, you don't do that either. CG3 is a good, but some of you niggas, man, like Turf, Orca, oh my God. Make me a moderator. Hold on 1 second. Turf, he calm, but hold on. 8, I'm gonna make you a moderator right now. 8. But Turf Orca, man, he used to be, he got a lot better. But yeah, man. But he used to be a killer on this channel, man. You say hello, God bless you. Time out. So but anyways, but Tony, we gonna go ahead on and get it started, man. I definitely thank you for coming on, man, tonight, as you always do when we need you. And like I said, you are the best find that I got in 2017, man. You know, I saw African brother, Ugandan brother, man, who subscribed to your blog, powerandstrategy.com. Go read Tony Maceo's work. I got to give a shout out to Maxi Limits because he's the one that referred you to me. He's like, yeah, man, my homeboy can write. My homeboy can write. I was like, okay, well, the niggas sound real smart. You know, like when I would listen to you, and I would listen to you when I was Uganda, the nigga's smart. But can he write? The nigga probably can't write like he talk. And then when I read his writing, uh, okay, let me tell you like this. It's very easy for people to say what they thinking, but it's much more difficult to write it. And if anybody's read Tony Mason's articles on Tuesday and you read Alan Roger Curry's articles on Mondays, those two people, Ram is more, when he writes, he's very bright, but Ram is more just on everyday language. But you can tell, like, and Ram is an excellent writer too, excellent writer. And when I get on there sometime, I'm pretty good myself. But Tony, you can tell like the way he explains things in his writing, it's very difficult to do it the way he does. And he is an exceptional, brilliant mind when it comes to literary writing. I mean, it's you don't see people write like this, so you guys are missing out if you don't go, because you guys support this with your money, right? With your super chats. And I'm gonna drop Tony a little donation for coming on, even though he didn't ask for it. But when you brothers do this, these are the kind of brothers you black men help bring in. You help bring in people like Tony Maceo, Marcus Love, you know, Dr. Andow, Andre Hatchett. You know, this is how you build communities when you have talented people and smart people. Okay, listen, bright people want to be around bright people. Okay, niggas don't want to be around niggas. You know, bright people don't want to be around niggas. So when you supporting brothers, we are able to bring in top quality people like Tony Maceo, bring in people like Alan Roger Curry. So this is the reason why, you know, you guys support us on Patreon so we can keep our brothers coming in, LAR movement, people like that. So go ahead and close us out, brother, and we're gonna be rocking in another hour or so.
All right. You can find, first of all, thank you, O'Shea, Duke Jackson. Thank you. You gave me the opportunity to do this. So thank you for the opportunity. Shout out to George is still in the chat. Shout out to George Macon. George is I like George. Shout out to George Macon.
He's something else, man.
Yeah, George, he's going to have to show me that flying, spinning kick.
On the third box.
Yeah, you got to show me that flying, spinning kick. George is my dude. But anyway, if you're looking for me, or if you look at my stuff is on the Negro Manosphere every Tuesday. I got a new article that dropped this past Tuesday. It's called Christianity, a White Man's Religion, ? And it's a breakdown to show it's not a white man's religion. But anyway, if you're looking for me, I'm on Tuesday, the Negro Manosphere, and powerandstrategy.com. A lot of people have been going to my YouTube, but I'm not really slick at the YouTube. I'm a better panelist than I am a content creator. But my thing is blogs and writing. So if you are interested in any of my work, if you niggas have the patience to read it and you have the patience to go through it, go to my blog at powerandstrategy.com. Go to my blog at powerandstrategy.com. Do not sign up at my YouTube channel because I don't put anything up there. If you're looking for anything on YouTube, I'll be on Max City Limits podcast. That's where I'll be. That's
best
where all
podcast in Black YouTube.
Yeah,
all of my City Limits. It's even better. I hate to say this. Let me say this real quick, brother. LAR, you know I love you, but Max City Limits podcast is better than the Brother Pill. I really believe that. We're the second best podcast. I always say that. Shout out to Dr. Andell. Max City Limits podcast is the best podcast in the manosphere. Period. And then it's everything else.
That's what we do, the nigga shit. All the nigga shit, all the niggatry is at maxcity.com. We do all the niggatry at maxcity.com. We do all the niggatry at maxcity.com. I'm going to say that again. We do all the niggatry at maxcity.com. If you're looking for me as a content, I'm a far better panelist than I am a content creator. But if you want to join something, go to my site, powerandstrategy.com. Again, that's powerandstrategy.com for my articles. Subscribe to the website. And if you want to support, whether you do or not, I'm still going to write. If you want to support me through PayPal, wayofstrategy44 at gmail.com. That is wayofstrategy44 at gmail.com. Through PayPal, on Patreon is Power of Strategies on Patreon. You can support me there. But other than that, I'll be here trying to help O'Shea, trying to contribute what I can to help make the manosphere a global phenomenon. because I want them to hear about us in not just Kampala. I want them to hear about us in Kenya. I want them to hear about us in Ethiopia. I want them to hear about us in Eritrea. I want them to hear about us in uh, Zimbabwe. I want them to hear about us in the Sudan. I want them to hear about us in Poland. I want them to hear about us in the Ukraine. I want them to hear about us everywhere because we are unique people. We do have something to contribute, and what we have here is value. And I don't think anybody can touch the Negro manosphere. I don't think the white manosphere can touch the Negro manosphere.
I
I
just
don't
said it the
think
other
that
day.
I don't think that Roosh V and what's this other guy, Paul Carrick Brunson, and the guy that wrote the mystery thing, uh, whatever his
Yeah,
name is,
yeah.
these guys. I don't think these guys can hold a candle to Alan Roger Curry. I don't think Paul Carrick Brunson can touch Alan Roger Curry. I don't think Roosh V can touch Alan Roger Curry. You understand?
No,
So we have this brilliance and this authority in our community.
right.
Bruce Lee said that he wanted to show the world the beauty of our culture. Let's show the world the beauty of our culture. I don't think that these guys can touch LAR movement for that. I think LAR movement is better than 90% of the white manosphere, including MGTOW.
Uh-oh.
So I don't think that they can even touch LAR. You understand? So we
Right.
have value here. Let's stop going to them. Oh will you let me in? Oh will you can I no, screw them. This is your space. This is your shit. This is our shit. Let's be Booker T. Washington minded here because this is our space. See, this is where we tell our story. Because as go black people, here's the secret. As go black people, as go America.
Yep.
Because whatever we say is cool, we're always the ones setting trends. Black America, no one can defeat us when it comes to setting trends. No one can beat us when it comes to setting trends. We are the pulse of pop culture. So fuck the white manosphere. That's how I see it.
Man, and I got my certain things about certain portions of them, but I will say this: I put up our guys against, I said it last night on the show. I put up our guys against anybody. Against anybody. We just new and growing, but we came a long ways. I was talking to Brother Farrell Edmondson a lot, in the last 3 years. I mean, we've come a long ways from where we were at. So we're looking to do some more great things. We have more professional brothers here. We have more brothers coming with different skill sets that's helping us out. I have another brother Craig Harper. He has he's created a bakery with alcoholic drinks in it. So I wanted to talk to him about how he started that. So we have a whole lot of talent over here, and it's because you brothers have allowed us to grow, and brothers from all over the space, not just from just America, brothers from the Britain, they've chipped in, brothers from all over Canada, and they've really helped us, shape this up. So thank you, brothers. We will be back on with Tony and LAR tonight on a special topic. So on the vlogcast, appreciate you, Tony. I dropped you a little something on that 75 player, so you don't have to spend all your money next time. But thanks, Roseman. Thanks for all you brothers, Casper, all the moderators, Doug. We got the moderator awards coming back in 3 months. The moderator awards coming back. We got the Manosphere awards coming back, and then at the end of June, we're gonna have the Black YouTube awards. So we're gonna do all that through the Manosphere this year. Thanks again, Tony. We'll see you guys again later on tonight.
All right.
Peace.